Been a nasty girl. I've been a nasty girl. I've been a nasty. If somebody could match my freak. That song has been stuck in my head for days. I need to get it out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing amazing. I am doing well. So I wanted to do a chit chat get ready with me video. I'm going to be doing filming a bit of content today for my Instagram and this content for YouTube. And I'm also going to be I also wanted to chit chat. You know, you guys enjoyed the last little chit chat video, so we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep chit chatting. I would try to have all the products linked down below for you guys, or don't be mad at me. I know I've been forgetting. I'm trying to get back into the groove of things, but I will try to list all my products down below that I'm using so that you guys know what I'm putting on my face. But before we get started, I quickly want to go off camera real quick and do my brows. It's just hard doing my brows on camera. For you guys who are not new to my channel, you guys know the girls used to eat me up back in the day talking about my brows were ugly. We've improved, and one thing we've improved on is knowing not to do our brows on camera because I can't get them even on camera. So let me go off and do them even on off camera so that I don't get ate up again like I got ate up in 2015, 2014 for having ugly brows. I'll be right back. All right, my brows are done. Now I feel like they're crooked. Girl, just like back then, baby, I don't care. So, okay, let's talk about it. So, some of you might not be following my little journey here, but my name is Benji. I am 38. I am divorced, and I have been trying to navigate divorce, weight loss, breast reduction surgery, mental health after losing my mother, and the mean streets of Houston. That sounds so dramatic, but that's really what I've been dealing with. And I found that if I'm going to be showing up on YouTube, I have to show up with what's going on in my life. I don't want to show up anymore with like, here's this pretty thing, you know, here's that pretty thing. And I love those videos and I will still give you guys that content. But this is what I'm going through. So we're going to talk about it. So with that intro, I started dating, and it's been a bit chaotic. It's been a bit chaotic, but it's been very interesting in my opinion. Just because one thing is that people talk a lot about, you know, being divorced and healing from your divorce and all of those things. And I think a lot of times when people leave divorce, it's over like abuse or like, you know, infidelity. And when you get divorced and it's neither of those things, it's literally like compatibility, like growing apart and things like that, and different things other than I used to get beat down and, you know, I was abused or I got cheated on. It's really hard to navigate because yes, you're divorced, but now you were brave enough to leave a situation that no longer worked for you, but the outside world sees that as like you're a quitter. That's how everybody sees it. Every time I explain to people why I'm divorced, and I don't even really go into it, I kind of breeze over it and I tell them what they need to know, because at the end of the day, it's my business and I don't know you that well. Now, if I start dating someone and it becomes a little bit more serious, maybe we can go into the whys a bit more. Maybe I feel like they have more reason to be asking me, but I'm not going to be on a first date or second date or third even actually telling you why I got divorced. Most people have very nefarious. Most people don't have the best intentions and they try to collect information from you to see how they can further traumatize you. Now, I don't think that most people go in thinking that they're gonna do that, but we're humans. We always want to get ahead of the game. We always want to be one step forward. And what's a better way to be one step forward than knowing exactly what your partner's shortcomings were, so you can, you know, use that and be very defensive when they tell you they don't like something. You can be like, oh, well, in your divorce, you told me you would like this. So I'm very careful now about what I share. I share enough for people to understand, but not too much because most people don't. Because as soon as I say that it wasn't abuse and it wasn't infidelity, people are like, okay, she's something else is wrong here. So then I get the 2020 questions of like, were you a bad wife? I hate that question, first of all, because are you a bad human? We're not talking about that. So yeah, I'm navigating that. And so it's been a little hard. And another thing about being divorced and your divorce not being a super traumatic experience, and it's also having gone to therapy. So not only are you not traumatized by marriage, so you're very much open to being married again, but you are have gone to therapy. Now, no one is healed completely. You would never. One thing I'm going to tell you about therapy right now, you would never be 100% healed. You will always be working on it. So, am I 100% healed? Absolutely not. Can I learn? Of course. I am teachable, but I am not easily manipulated. You can teach me. Like, I want to learn, but you're not going to manipulate me. So that's another thing that like kind of works against me sometimes in dating, is that like most people come from such like a wounded place when they're divorced or when they're broken up, that it's easy for someone to come along in your life and manipulate you, like literally into another really bad situation. But the plus side of me, being gone to therapy and not having a bad experience with marriage, is the fact that I am very in tune with what I want. Like, I'm very in tune with what I want. And I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you about what I want. I give enough information, I communicate enough, and there's certain things that I look for, and I'm not going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chances, okay? I am someone that I have learned over the years in being in a long-term relationship is the best way to show your partner that you care is when they express to you that they need something from you, show a sense of urgency. Show a sense of urgency like, okay, I care about this person. They're telling me that this one thing that I do bothers them. Show a sense of urgency. And when people don't show a sense of urgency in the dating stage, oh boy, just get ready for what an actual relationship with them is going to be like. It is going to be a trip. It is going to be tough. I'm not saying that most people won't learn. I'm just saying that I've already gone through those growing pains and I just don't want to go through them again. I either want to be with somebody who's already been married and has learned from their mistakes, or somebody who just is an adult and doesn't have to be told things 100 times to do it. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. But I will say it has been tough kind of dating as a divorced person, because a lot of people want to make you feel, I'm not going to say people, men, I date men. A lot of men try to make you feel like something is wrong with you. And if you tell them, you know what, I had a great time. No, the thing about me is that I like to communicate. So if I go out with someone and I feel like things aren't going to work out, I'm not going to ghost you because I don't want to run into the street with you. Houston is a small city, okay? You're going to run into them. I don't want to run into you and feel like I owe you an explanation. So I'm like, hey, I had a great time, but I just don't think we're in the same place in our lives. I just don't think we want the same things. Um, yeah. And then men are like, oh yeah, I understand why you're single. I understand why you're divorced. And I'm like, okay. Like, they want to use that. I noticed that a lot of men try to use me being divorced or being single like against me. And I'm like, okay, well, to tell you, sure, me rejecting you is why I'm single, or me being an adult and communicating with you as to why I don't think we should continue is why I would never get married. Okay. But with that being said, I would really say that overall, I've had a pretty positive dating experience. I'm really good about picking out weird behavior very quickly. I date in person live, and I also date online, sometimes with work and everything. Dating online is a bit more doable just because there's a lot going on in everyone's lives, and work and everything. Sometimes you're just tired, you just want to come home. So, but I also meet people in real life, and I would say I've been off of work for about 6 weeks recovering from my breast reduction surgery. So I've met a lot more people live because I've had time to be outside and to just be out there in times where I would generally be at work before. I'm I'm out there living life. So I've been meeting people in person. So having said that, I will say this. Here are some quick red flag, green flags that I look for when I'm doing online or even in person. This could work for both. But let's go with red flags. The first red flag that I look for that has saved me a ton of pain and heartache is when you see somebody's dating profile and it says, I own my own car and I have my own place. Now, if the person is in their 20s, sure, right? If you're in your 20s, like anywhere from 23, 25 to like 27, 28, yes, sure, that's an accomplishment. But if a 30-year-old man says, I have my own place and I have my own car, that man does not have his life together. Do not expect them to have good credit. Do not expect them to have his stuff together. He's still just trying to figure out what the 20-year-olds are trying to figure out, which is having a mode of transportation and having a place to live. I am automatically, we're not going any further than this. We're not going any further than this. The next one is the travel guys. I love somebody who's traveled. I love somebody who's experienced different culture. I come from a different culture, so I tend to get along more with people who have seen a bit of the world and are more open to other cultures. But I've noticed that when some men, I'm not going to say all, some men start traveling, it becomes part of their personality. Now it's like 40 countries and counting. You don't have a passport? Don't swipe on me. And I'm like, when did you get your passport? When did you get your passport? We're in this culture where people are traveling not to experience the world in different cultures. They're traveling to put it on their Instagram highlight and to feel like they have this step above other people. And that's not what I'm looking for. You know, I want somebody who's traveled, but that's not your personality. That's a hobby. Like, congratulations, you've seen the world. Again, something an adult should be doing. So if that becomes part of your personality and I get that from your profile, I'm not going to match you because I already know you're going to be, you may have the attitude that you know everything and we're probably going to be arguing. And I am a woman who, I'm not argumentative, but I can debate you to the ground. And men like that don't like to be debated. They will call you argumentative. They will call you aggressive. They will call you not feminine. They will call you everything. So I'm just going to pass on that and I'm just going to say no to those. The next one is going to be when I'm on your dating profile and you, number one, do not tell me if you have kids or not, which if somebody doesn't put if they have kids or not, they have kids, because people who don't have kids want you to know that they don't have kids. If you see somebody's profile and it doesn't say anything about having kids, they have kids for sure. Especially if there's a specific spot where it's supposed to be and it's not. So yeah, I just assume that they have kids. But on top of that, they don't even tell you what kind of job they do, right? And I'm not saying that you have to have like the best job ever, but I need to be able to know, like, I can kind of tell, like, by your job, like what you got going on. And if you don't have kids, like if you tell me you have kids and then I see your job is a job that, like, dude, you're barely going to be able to pay your child support, like this is going to be an issue going forward. I come from a country where the men provide for the women. We're not going to have that discussion. It is what it is. If you do not want to be with a woman who has that mentality of a man should provide, then date a woman who doesn't have that mentality. There is plenty of women to go around for everyone's taste and like. I'm of that belief, right? So if you giving me a job and you have 4 kids, how are you going to provide for a relationship, a wife going forward? How's that going to work? So yeah, if they don't have that information, I usually just exit out, okay? Doesn't ask enough questions about you. This is when you're moving on to like talking more on the phone. They don't ask a lot of questions. They're ready to meet you. They want to see you. They're ready to go. But they don't ask you questions about yourself. Like, what do you like to do? You know, tell me about your family. Like, just questions of somebody who actually wants something serious with you would ask. This could tell you 1 or 2 things. They just want the physical part. They want to get to the physical part and they don't want to know more about you because they don't want to get attached, because they know They don't want to be in your life for very long. I'm gonna get through the rest of this. It's gonna be gets offended easily when you don't share their socials. I do not share my social media with anyone unless we're like locked in. Unless I am about to meet your mom, or we're really like moving this thing, not meet your mom, but like unless we're in a relationship, you're not getting my social media. We're just not doing that. My social media links to like my YouTube where I share a lot of things. And what's the point of getting to know each other if you can just go on my YouTube and watch everything about me, right? So I don't share my socials, and some people get very offended. They're like, "Ah, you're hiding something." And I was like, I don't care what you think I'm hiding. If you don't like it, baby, you don't have to be here. You can leave. Like, you can go. It's not a big deal. I'm not gonna be hurt, okay? We've only been talking for a little bit. I'm not that invested into it. Okay, last red flag for me is gonna be a man that's stingy, and stingy comes in different ways. Now, I'm not saying that I want a man to like buy me expensive gifts right away. I mean, you will have to at some point, because one of my love languages is gifts. And if you're going to be in a relationship with me, why wouldn't you? And I'm not expecting for that to happen without us deciding to be together or to be in a relationship or whatever. But I don't want to hear about money. Money is so gauche. Like, I don't want to talk about money. You know what I mean? I just want things to happen. I don't want to know how they're happening. I don't want to hear about like the ins and outs, and I don't want to hear about how this is so expensive and this is so expensive. I don't want to hear about how women have used you for a meal. Know your audience, okay? Who are you dating? Are you dating, like 22-year-olds who are literally in college and, are literally a broke college student? I was a broke college student trying to get a meal, too, at some point in my life. So I can't be mad at sis. That's all I'm saying. I can't be mad at her. You knew what you was getting into. You were a 37-year-old man trying to get a 22-year-old. Why are you mad? Why are you mad? That she wants to get food and good food from you. So don't be upset if that's happening. Yeah. So I don't want stingy men. I want somebody who is generous. I know I'm a very generous person, and it needs to be reciprocated quickly. Okay, let's quickly talk about some green flags that I look for. Okay. Gives good compliments, okay? Tells you you're beautiful. I prefer beautiful over cute or hot. If you call me hot, I can't guarantee that I will continue the conversation. That tells me that you're very hypersexual because you say you're looking for a relationship. And I understand that sometimes people can trip up and just say the wrong thing, and I'm not going to count somebody out for just calling me hot, because I am hot. But usually follows up with something worse, like the compliments start becoming more and more sexual, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So when they compliment me and tell me you're beautiful, I love, something non-sexual, like I love the way you walk. I don't know, I'm just saying random stuff. Or stuff like that. Like, I love your voice and things like that. So, just something that's not too sexual. I love those compliments. Those are green flags. Plans dates. Okay. I don't want to be involved in the process that much. As I want to be involved in the what do you like to eat? What area of town do you live in? Blah, blah, blah. Just enough information to give you an idea of what you should be planning. Do not start asking me, where do you want to go? Blah, blah, blah. Figure it out, sir. I feel like every man should have a notes app in his phone with different restaurants and venues that he wants to take people on a date with. I mean, that's what I would do if I was a man, but I'm just organized. The one that always kills me is I'm new in town. I really don't know what anything is. After they just told you that they were out the night before, trying this out and trying that out. Now that it's time to plan a date, they're new in town. They've been here for 2 years, but they're new in town. Okay, sir. I'm not gonna play those games, because this is already showing me how this is gonna go. And usually, I'll redirect and I'll be like, hey, I like to eat this type of food. I'll be free around this time, and I live around this area. And I'll leave it to you. If you come back to me and ask me more questions, done deal. You're done, so you're out of here. So I like the ones who take the time to plan a date, And, you know, they ask me a couple of questions, they ask me a few questions, and then they just come back with, I love the ones who give me options. They're like, you can have this, 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 pick one. And I pick one, good to go, baby. And I like to know where we're going because I need to know what I'm wearing. I tend to overdress, so let me know so I don't walk in somewhere super overdressed and everybody's, you know, not overdressed. I like the men who, there's no question about who is paying for the date or who's paying for the outings. I don't like to have that be a conversation that comes up. If it comes up, it tells me that you're like on Instagram going back and forth with women about the gender wars, and I don't want my man to be doing that. I want my man to be working. I want my man to be working. I don't want my man to be listening to podcasts and giving his opinion to 19-year-old girls. Like, grow up. My last two green flags, they kind of go together, and they're the ones that I've been dealing with the most, and they're going to be prioritizing spending time with you, with me, and then being flexible. I've been fortunate enough, I don't know if this is fortunate or not, but to date people who are very successful in their careers. But with dating people who are successful in their careers, it comes with a lot of last minute plans, sometimes a lot of things getting moved around because sometimes they travel for work, they have clients, they have all these things happening. And I'm all for that. I'm all for you going out there and getting your money. But I find that sometimes men who are very successful have been told this lie that they have all these options. Sure, you have options, right? But are you looking for options, or are you looking for your person? Because options and your person are two different things. Your person is going to be somebody that's going to be able to, you're going to connect with, you're going to be in sync with. They're going to call you out when you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. They're going to help you grow. You're going to help them grow. Options is you've gone through so many women that now you're 48. There's no more options. Now you have to date and have to be with a 25-year-old, which that could be your person, but now you have to just be with somebody who is younger, hotter, whatever. Those are your options, and to me those are not options. That's actually settling, if we're gonna be for real. But it is what it is. But I have dated men that are very successful in their career, but they have no flexibility. They have no way of like, hey, yes, you're not the president, okay? You make time for things important to you, make it work. I am not the type of woman that you put on ice. Like, oh, you chill and I'll see you when I get back in town. Baby, don't put me on ice because I don't thaw out. I freeze. And I do not unfreeze. That's just how it is. As soon as somebody makes me feel like you're not into me, immediately I'm not into it anymore. Like, I'm just not gonna do that with you. Another thing, I'm done with my green flags and red flags, but there's one thing I did want to tell you guys that has happened to me recently that I wanted to share. So I just got a breast reduction and I lost 60 pounds. I would say nobody noticed. People noticed that I lost weight, but people didn't really notice I lost weight until I got a breast reduction, because my breast was so heavy that it didn't really look like I lost any weight. I still looked very heavy, but the second that I got the breast reduction, I started to look like I was smaller, like visibly smaller, and I started getting approached by a whole new group of men. Like, I mean, I've always been somebody who gets approached, or maybe not approached. I've never had an issue dating outside of my race, or even matching with people online outside of my race and actually going on a date with them. But I noticed, like, when I'm out on my runs, out on my walks, at the gym, blah blah blah, I'm getting more approached by white men since I got a breast reduction. I don't know what that's about, but we're gonna have to speculate. We're gonna have to speculate because I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not really sure what's going on with Chad and them, but yeah, gone on a date with few. The problem with dating a white man specifically has always been their political views. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about about that, okay? We're literally talking about my life. I'm not gonna discuss that. It's not open for discussion. You're either of one political view or you are another. This is not something that's open for discussion. We're no longer in the day and age where, oh, we're from different sides of the aisle and we can come together. That went a long time ago on January 6th. That went a long time ago, okay? That's no longer what it is. It is what it is, especially I live in Texas, and Roe versus Wade being turned on. It's not for discussion. So that has been my personal struggle with dating white men. We meet, we have connection, we're talking, yeah, and we just have a really good time. But I always ask, and it always, so I'm always like, bye. So yeah, I wanted to get to talking about a little bit more things, but I need to get going here. But yeah, this is my face. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Sound down below what you guys think over all of these things, and then please let me know as well what videos you guys would like to see coming up next. There's so many plethora of things that I can talk about, but I want to know what you guys want to know, like what video should I be filming next. Now we'll be going back into do a little bit more beauty videos, cooking videos, vlogs, and things like that, but let's throw some spice here and there once in a while. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.